This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, the Heart of the Valorous buff has gone live this weekend, which means 100% more Valor Points. The Tauren male and Gnome female character models have been updated and are looking beefy, pun intended. And Azerothian Choppers has now gone to the voting stage. Let the voting begin. I'm Mezzy and welcome to WoW Weekly episode number 35. This week I'm joined by LJ. How are you, LJ?
I'm doing quite well. And yourself?
I'm good. Came back from a barbecue not too long ago.
I already hate your guts again.
Well, let me make it a bit worse. We ate tiramisu for dessert.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't like that either, so...
Alright, also joining us is Matt. Welcome back, Matt.
Hello, how are you?
Well, a bit sunburned.
Well, it's your fault. It was sun. I've not seen the sun for 3 weeks.
What is this sun? Where do you see that?
What is this sun?
Outside, I know. It's,
God.
It's
a
not
You went to the
dangerous
outside?
place.
It's not even the concept of being outside. It's actually physically seeing the sun. I saw it for a weekend, got relatively drunk the entire weekend, and it's rained continuously since. So.
Yes, the weekend from 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
That's basically England in a nutshell, isn't it?
No, this is England in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell.
Nutshell, yeah. I know that joke.
Okay, wow, guys. Great start.
Exactly.
Alright, so this week, the Heart of the Valorous went live, and it's the second buff we've seen from Blizzard in their games that gives 100% more of something, in this case Valor Points. In Diablo 3 a few weeks back, which is now permanent, it was the anniversary increase to the legendary drop chance. So it's starting to become a recurring pattern. Do you guys think that this might find its way into more Blizzard games or in Warcraft itself? LJ, let's have you start.
Well, of course, it's always a possibility. I think it's not a bad way to retroactively change things or buff things, to put it like that. I mean, especially if they seem to work with like the 100% legendary buff. I think it was funny that I mean, you were playing Diablo. I haven't been playing it that much, but when you play and you said that it would be awesome if they, made it permanent, and they actually almost listened to you, which was pretty awesome. I think it's just nice that maybe this has taught Blizzard as well that things like this can be implemented more into their games. That it's a good idea that, especially that if they do something that and the people enjoy it, the community enjoys it. I think it's something good that they also, say that, well, why don't we just keep it? Why don't we just, keep the people happy and let them keep it? So I definitely think it's something that can be implemented in future patches and such. Maybe even with later on we get the garrisons that more drop rate chance for certain recipes or certain items or certain whatchamacallits, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities on that end, so I think it's definitely something that's nice and should be kept in the back of their minds.
Yeah, and what about you, Matt?
I'm sort of the same. The thing is, it all depends what context taken in, because they will always do little things like this depending when it is. Like at the moment, they're sort of doing the whole, "Yay, you've played the same expansion for 6.5 months now. Here's your reward, more valor.
You can upgrade your gear.
You can upgrade your gear. Welcome, thank you. Come again next Tuesday." And the thing is, it does give us... The thing I like about it is something very, very simple, that you can upgrade the gear you've got, and it's a use for the Valor Points. Because at the moment, we know there wasn't going to be another raid, so we always knew there was going to be no new gear to get anyway. So once you've got the best gear you can have, there's not much point in doing much else anyway. Maybe, I think as we spoke about last week, they're doing the whole thing regarding not the patches, what I'm talking about, regarding the hopefully cosmetic items. That could be a good thing. That could be to use all your Valor points on at the end of expansion. That might be a useful thing to do, but I don't know. I'm just being tired and daft at the moment.
Well, the buff is temporary until June 10th. But one thing that was with Diablo as well, it made the game a lot more fun. It had the grindiness. With Diablo, at least, I got tired of doing the rifts pretty quickly. But with the increase and the more getting of the legendaries, at least in Diablo, it's made the game more fun and kept me playing it longer and doing more rifts as I went. Now for WoW, with the Valor points, I wasn't happy with extra upgrades because I really didn't want to cap Valor points. But now with this, it's easy. Just do, well, you'll have to do it more grinding on your main character that does a lot of DPS, hopefully, because you can do the Timeless Isle weekly quest and get 400 Valor points in one go. So that's already awesome. Then if you do one heroic scenario per day for 2 days, 300 per day, you're done. So that's pretty easy. Then if you do it on alt, you'll not only have the 100%, you'll have the 50% from the buff that you have capped it on another character. So then it becomes insanely easy to actually do it on your alts as well. So I'm really happy with it. It actually makes me enjoy the game a bit more.
Well, anything that saves time and effort at the moment is always going to be a gimme, because everyone said most people's time they log on is very limited to trying to play other games and think, oh, let's do something on WoW.
Yeah.
So we don't know as what it is with what we've said. I think something will be said later, but there's loads I've got a PlayStation 4 and it's actually been a couple of games out for it. I'm like, oh my god, we've had 2 new games in 6 months. So
yeah, hallelujah.
I'm happily playing a bit of Wolfenstein at the minute. I've not got the other one yet, but you never know, I might get it in. Watch Dogs, not got it yet. I don't know. It meant to look quite cool, but I might get it. I'm not sure. But I know there's a fair bit more coming out. But then you've got, say, WildStar, Elder Scrolls, and all that type of stuff. So we shall see.
Yeah. So, as we go off topic all the time. Anyway, how's your marriage going with your 3D TV?
Amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like 3D, man.
Does it work well with the PlayStation, or?
Well, I've actually not. Yes and no, because I've not played anything that's truly 3D. The TV turns anything 3D, which is pretty cool. So I can just watch a 2D channel and it will turn it into 3D. So it's really cool. I like it. It's going to be nice and shiny. I look really cool with the glass on as well. So
I'm sure.
Well, that is important. So
yeah,
look really
most important
sexy.
thing when you're playing a game is looking cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what matters.
Watching TV, I mean, what?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody might pass your house and look inside and, oh my god, he's not cool. You want to look cool to those people, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with those
definitely.
glasses on. That's why you always play Just Dance next door window.
Of course. So
Definitely.
All I can say is I rock at Rasputin by Boney M on Just Dance. Oh yeah.
Oh, I've seen videos of that. That's awesome. Definitely. When I come to England, seriously, need to do that. And no, we will not post it on YouTube.
a WoW Weekly special episode. Come on.
Never.
And this is actually something.
What if I join you? I'll go on
Hey.
holiday.
That's sure. Then okay.
All right.
This is a bit more off topic, but I am going to mention one thing on that fact quickly.
Mm-hmm.
This is just for LJ as well. LJ, Ubisoft, who make the Just Dance games, actually have their Uplay system, which I believe you know about.
No
And
shit. I think we're talking about it later.
It records everything.
Oh dear.
Every time you do something on the Xbox or on the PlayStation with the camera, it records you doing it.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's move on. So, Matt, you'll get to talk more because Druids, they've been getting a lot of changes on the alpha. They've kind of been revamped as far as their mechanics goes. For all the details, check out the patch notes for the alpha. But one of the major things is that the Eclipse system is being revamped in that it's will just keep going from one side to the other. I believe the timer is 30 seconds.
yeah, that's what I would say. I was doing homework. Hey,
So tell us about that, Matt.
oh dear, can't get my head around it. Hopefully, you can correct me on half the stuff I get wrong.
All right.
If my readings on it are correct, they're trying to, and I do agree with what they said. They're trying to simplify and also make it harder in the same sentence how to do your rotation as a druid. Like most people know at the moment, you basically do Moonfire, Sunfire. Well, I start off with Starfire, so it hits the boss before boss pull. You make sure your Eclipse is almost at the Starfire section. Moonfire, Starfire, one Wrath, bang, 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 bang. Just pop every cooldown when it happens. Just rinse and repeat. And it is probably the most boring rotation you can ever want to do. As soon as you've done your initial 2 dots on the boss, press one button. It is Starfire, Starfire, Star Surge, Starfire, Starfire. Ooh, Luna, Wrath, Wrath, Wrath. Redo Hearts. Ooh, Star Surge. And that is it for the entire fight. So what they're
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. What they're aiming to do at the minute is to try and make it. Well, they're trying to make it a lot easier to understand the base of it, because apparently, and I can't quite see this, and this is me maybe being not elitist because I ain't the most elite person on the planet.
You being yourself, basically.
Slack. But I can't. I'm struggling to see how people could get confused at the current rotation, because apparently they said that the current rotation is difficult to do, easy to master.
Yeah.
Which I don't fully agree with. I think it should be. I think they said it should be easy to learn, which I think this is, and then hard to master, and that's when to get, and that's what they're aiming to do. I think you've got 3 second swing timer. You've got the Star Surge now needs to be more correctly used, depending where you are in your your bar. I think I can't remember what it's that called. Is it Lunar Bar or Eclipse Bar? Eclipse Bar. The more
You're the druid, man. Come
Our
on.
resident moonkin, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm
Yeah, jeez.
May I please say Resto? Hello. Off spec.
Yeah.
So you basically start at 0, and that's when your skills do relatively the same, and then you will gradually through the 30 seconds boost your stars up. If you're at Lunar, if you've got 80 Eclipse and you're on the Sun side, your Wrath will do 27% plus damage, and your Starfire will do 3% plus damage. So it's all to do with, and Star Surge increase the damage of your next 3 Wrath and your next 2 Starfire. So you have to try and judge a lot more. I think it is going to be a lot more interesting to play. It's going to be a lot more thought into when you're using certain things. But the rotation as a whole is going to be, I think, as they're aiming for, a lot simpler. But to master it, to get all the nuances of getting everything correct, is going to be quite a challenge. It should be quite interesting.
That's
so you really have to work with a lot of timing and such, which is basically good design, to be honest with you, because a lot of classes have that now as well, with not just with cooldowns but with spells as well. So except ones, but they're special.
But the problem you do have at the moment is the annoying thing regarding you just pop stars. All it is make sure your hots are up, pop Star Surge every cooldown, pop Starfall every cooldown. That is it. That is your rotation. I like the fact that you are going to have to judge your. It almost means that there's no point popping Star Surge at maybe 40. Maybe pop Star Surge if you've got, because I think you have 3 stacks of Star Surge as well, and it takes longer to cool down, longer to read. It's a 15-second internal cooldown on it now, and it's going to a 30-second internal cooldown.
It's using the charge system, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's 3 charge of it. So I think it is going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot more thought has to go into the rotation and when you use it. Of course, it'll be the standard thing. Get up to this amount. Make sure you pop your Star Surge. Do this, that, and that. That will come out very quickly. People will obviously do everything. You'll get the theory crafters head boggling for a couple of months, going, "Oh my god, do this!" Ah! And
What
as soon as that was, "Oh my god, do this!" Ah!
I see.
Yeah. I like a little panicky art every now and then.
You don't say.
It's a manly art.
Oh yeah, we can
very.
tell.
Very manly.
Very
But
manly,
yes.
as you've just been kicked in the balls, manly.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it because even though I do enjoy my off spec, it can be painfully boring, and that is beyond painfully. It can just be the most boring thing to do on the planet.
Which, I mean, then it definitely needs to be changed, doesn't it? If it's so boring. Yeah. I mean, who wants to play that
I think
class talent thing?
With me, I enjoy it because it's something different, as I always heal.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. I have to as well with going from Healadin to Retrodin. I mean, it's something different. It's not that I like melee DPS more than range DPS, but
Really?
I do. I really don't like ranged, except hunters, but they're special. Like I said before. It's just I think everybody likes that now and again. I don't know if that's for DPSers as well, but it's just like that's what alts are for as well. But I mean, like a druid is an alt in itself because it has lots of different play styles. I mean, the only class with 4 talents basically.
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting a feral or guardian set, depending on which gear I pick up now.
Guardian set.
Well. So,
may the god that doesn't exist have mercy on your raid.
Hey.
Yes, we'll need it.
I'm not a bad tank, may I thank you?
No, you're a horrible tank. I'm sorry.
All right.
This is the level of abuse I get on a day.
Oh, because
please.
you never do something. No, come on. Let's open up that can, won't we?
Your abuse is nothing compared to what I have to receive every raid and every pre-podcast.
Well, you enjoy it. You're some kind of pervert that way.
Oh yeah, I enjoy being abused, sure.
Hey, kinky.
Well, we got it on tape now.
Yeah, we now have proof. It's there. It's out there.
Photoshop or whatever. I mean, we can make something work here.
Uh-huh.
Get the gimp.
Something for the channel ad, huh?
Exactly. We need more viewers then. We'll just do it this way.
More viewers. Here we go. He likes getting abused.
So people, please comment in the YouTube section with abuse for Messi.
No. Bad LJ. Let's move on.
Anyway.
Man, I hate you guys.
Still come back.
I know. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
So, the first preview came out for Garrisons this week, at last, because it was announced like months ago, and it was going to be, in 2-3 weeks, but then we got the rating stuff and art crafts, of course.
Not with as well. With Blizzard, I don't know. They said something would release early this year, but
no, I agree. Yeah, I read that.
Nah, that doesn't sound like Blizzard at all.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, now you're saying that. I've just thought, yeah, the bastards. Anyway, they're not. But I forgot.
Anyway.
I completely forgot about that because it was that longer. Now I remember actually reading something, and they did basically say, yeah, well, here's the first look on Garrisons, and you'll get the rest of it in a couple of weeks. In January.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was January as well, because I remember us all getting a little bit excited.
Well, we finally have it here.
It was this not the last set of interviews, but the set before that.
Okay.
So, yeah, a couple of months ago. Anyway, so, a lot of stuff we already knew, obviously. But some interesting information did come forward. Each time you clear up a zone, you'll have the choice between two buildings, two blueprints for your garrisons, between two different buildings, and you'll have to make a choice in that. I believe one was a lumber mill and the other was a fighting arena or something like that.
Yeah, arena.
And I think that was for Gorgrond. So that's pretty interesting. And then at the same time, once you actually choose one of the two, in each zone you'll actually get a garrison outpost. So your main garrison will be located in Frostfire Ridge for Horde or Shadowmoon Valley for Alliance, but you'll actually have outposts in each of the zones. So that's something, Matt, you were kind of worried about, that you'd just have the garrison in one zone. It's a bit more complicated than that, which is good. In fact, once you have the outpost, you'll be able to get I guess it's the extra action button, I'm assuming. You'll be able to summon an ogre, for example, an ogre bodyguard, thanks to the outpost, which is pretty freaking awesome. So in that way, you do feel player progression, getting stronger, getting a sort of army in Draenor, I guess, because that's the goal, to bring down the Iron Horde.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just what do you guys think? Awesome? Should they do more, or is this exactly what they needed to add?
I
Matt?
think this.
Oh, hello. No, it is. It's nice to have the information. It's nice to have information so you can have a look on there. Yeah, it does sound pretty cool, and I think I saw some of the progression photos and that type of stuff the other day. Yeah, it does look nice, and it does look. I'm still a little bit pessimistic on, I think, on the whole garrisons thing, because it does. They are relying a lot on what is basically a gimmick.
Is it though?
The garrisons is a gimmick, I think, unless I just think it's going to be very, very hard to make an entire expansion. The raiding is going to be good. Fair enough. They're doing the textures that make everything look really nice. We saw some of the stuff the other week and some of the models, and they did generally look very, very good.
Yeah.
But the main focal point of the expansion is the garrisons. So they are going to have to be something special anyway to carry the expansion.
Well, I think that by, if you see what they've released now or said what they've saying now, that it's really going above and beyond than just a gimmick. And I definitely think that it will maybe not fully carry the expansion. I mean, as it is now, it probably won't carry the whole expansion. But I mean, if they keep on improving and keep on adding stuff to it and stuff like this, then I mean, I definitely think that is going to be a very big portion of the experience of Wolves of Draenor, which I think, to be honest, I really like, because, like I've said in previous podcasts, I like the whole concept of having your own base and basically having your own followers and such. I mean, I really like the whole idea, and I also like the idea that you have to make decisions, because nowadays, I mean, especially in WoW, you play the game, but you don't really have decisions. Like here with you can the choice between the lumber mill or the sparring arena. Both have upsides and downsides. So it all depends on what you're going to get and how it's going to play out, of course. So
Yeah.
I mean, I really like that, because WoW, they've done that more now, like with the patch that, like, the main area, the center area, what's it called, the Valley of the Four Winds, is now Shah infested and such, that it really feels like you've progressed through the whole expansion, that stuff has actually happened. Back in the day, that didn't really happen. I mean, the country always stayed the same, and I think with the garrisons, that you really have this more distinct feeling, like, I'm playing this game, I'm having an influence on this world, and I think that's something that WoW has, well, lacked a little bit. I mean, especially since the rise of MMOs that have this very strong, like Star Wars: The Old Republic, that, I mean, it's really that it's important, that it's good that Blizzard learned of these competitors and also is going to do it in their game. I think is really the way forward, to be honest.
Yeah, I quite agree. I think it's a new fun. Yeah. Okay, it's partly gimmicky, but it's also
Yeah, like
nice.
those cooldowns are gimmicky, but I
Yeah.
mean, the whole thing in itself is not gimmicky. Put it like
Well,
that.
the thing
No.
is, as long as we can have a bright purple and a bright yellow minion with one eye, I'm happy.
Well, that's the thing, though. We've been heroes within WoW for 9 years, 10 years now. Shouldn't we have some followers that worship us? We've killed the Lich King. We've killed Deathwing. We've defeated the Garrosh. No, Illidan. Killed Jaden's avatar. Cthulhu. All these different big baddies. Shouldn't we have followers? Don't we deserve that?
We all deserve our own cult. I mean,
Of course.
Bill Jaden's avatar.
Warcraftology. I mean, yes.
Yes. I mean, they should get us loot, damn it. But yeah, what I do feel though is that they need to bring more to the table now that it's taking so long. Give us extra dungeons, for example, because 6 new ones, 2 revamped ones isn't enough.
Yeah.
I just want more.
The thing.
Well, you
thing
always want more, but
always
yeah.
want more. You never know. The 6 at the start, the 6 for the first say month isn't too bad. Like the thing is, what a lot of games are going towards now is almost micro patches. Like look, Elder Scrolls have been out for a month. It released its first, what would be considered quite a major, considerable patch in WoW, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It had the first sort of raid area. It had the first a few more dungeons, if you know what I mean. So that happened within a month. I know a lot of games have been doing that recently, where they bring their sort of micro patches out. I know that I think, was it Star Wars? That was one thing about Star Wars. They wanted a lot of little patches with a lot of stuff. I think we had, in the couple of months we played, we had a couple of decent patches with new dungeons in. Even then, and we didn't play for particularly that long.
Yeah, but the question is, Blizzard has been saying for 2 expansions now, yeah, it's going to be faster. Sure, we had patch 5.1 and 5.3 come out 2-3 months after the major raid patches. But ever since 5.4, it's just dropped dead.
Unfortunately, and I'm being devil's advocate for a change, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Blizzard have shot themselves in the foot with BlizzCon. And what we all presumed was that, and I'm not talking about...
We'd be playing Warlords of Draenor right now.
I'm not talking about a fully ready version of World of Warcraft. I'm not talking about that. But we'd all presumed the way they were talking at BlizzCon and the stuff that was being said at BlizzCon is that they were a lot further ahead in the process than they normally were. That is the vibe that we all got.
That's what they said.
That is pretty much said, and that's the vibe we all got. Now, they've had some setbacks, which they haven't really mentioned. So, I don't know. If they've just come out and said we've had a couple of setbacks, this is what we're doing, then we're fine. I don't think they really ever actually officially said that. They have mentioned and said the reason I think, we're not quite happy with this, we're not quite happy with that. But if they just actually said, this is what we're not happy with, this is what we're doing, I think it would make everyone's life a little bit easier.
Yeah. It's true. In the end, if it's not ready, it's not ready.
We'd only be moaning if it was crap.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I think that pretty much covers the news for this week. So, LJ, I'm giving it to you for this week's discussion point.
Oh, you sure you want to give it to me?
I can't say anything with you guys.
No, okay. It's going to be a little bit different discussion point. It's not going to be purely on World of Warcraft. I'm just going to switch screen here. There we have it. Well, most of us are play different games. Like myself, I'm not just a World of Warcraft. I play a lot of different games, and I enjoy it a lot. Especially now that WoW is deadish or just really boring. But this week was pretty important in the world of Gameland. The previous week because Watch Dogs, a very anticipated, highly anticipated game of Ubisoft, released, and it didn't quite meet expectations, especially now with the community. I have experienced this myself. I have it on PC, and a lot of complaints have come in, and that I have myself as well. Like the configuration of it is pretty poorly done. Well, this is only this is only one thing, but I've had this with other games as well, which leads me to two discussion points because of course, hyping up a game will always happen with certain games, especially high-profile games like Watch Dogs, or games like GTA, or I don't know, other games released by bigger companies, bigger how do you say it again? Developers,
Publishers.
developers like EA, Activision, etc. So then we have two different things because, of course, hyping up will happen, but that's all. Is it actually good to hype up a game, especially if it isn't that good of a game? I mean, you can always sell on the short term, but on the long term, won't that hurt your reputation? So, especially with World of Warcraft now, because we've been talking about a lot. WoD was hyped up a lot, like especially in the start. We're going to release it soon. It's going to be awesome, etc., etc. And they've done this multiple times with all the expansions, and so far it hasn't got. Like lately, it hasn't gone that well, but with WoD, it really seems like they've been hyping up it too soon, and that it's been bad because now we're still waiting on the game. And second of all, it's like I said, especially the community is not great. It's not very warming up to Watch Dogs, so. I myself go on a lot of websites that have a lot of reviews. Like I personally look a lot on Metacritic.com. I don't know if people know this, but it's a website that gathers a lot of reviews for a lot of different games, also movies, music, etc. But especially I look for games because they have the section that they show all the reviews of the of newspapers, magazines, websites, IGN, and stuff like that. But also people can put in their own reviews. Now I understand that reviewers for a newspaper are a lot more professional, but especially some games, it really is becoming a trend that the professional reviewers are in a discordance to what the public is seeing, what it feels. I'm just gonna look at it myself. Like at the moment, the PC version for Watch Dogs has an average of 81, but the user score that's based on 10 critics, but the user score on 1,394 ratings is a 4.6, which means that it's almost more than half lower. So basically, we have 2 points here that I want to discuss. One is hyping up a game. Is it good or bad? Also depending on the situation. And two, is the game press, the game reviewers, are they still doing the work properly, or are high-end developers getting too much attention for games that aren't worth it anymore? So let's start with the first one off, and let's go to Messi for that.
Okay, is it bad? Not necessarily. I think that no matter what type of media, whether it's games, music, films, whatever, companies, the producers, developers are going to want to hype it up as much as possible anyway, because they want to sell. Now, I think that actually the press then has more of a duty here to actually tell the audience, the community, whether it's actually good or not, because the developers are going to say it's good anyway. Whereas
of course, it's their product, so yeah.
Yeah, whereas the press have press events and stuff like that to test things out, they actually have the chance to tell the community if it's actually good. They can test it out. And I think we'll go, because this links to your second point straight away anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing a good job anymore. I think that because they still want to get invited to the next press event, they're not going to. They won't get to as likely if they're going to send out a negative review, because that's just the way corruption works within companies. I think they're going to give it a positive rating. Now, LJ knows I've been moaning about this particular thing for a while now, and that's with the upcoming Linkin Park release with the new album. Now, they just released Wastelands, a new song, and all the press is like, oh yeah, it's awesome, it sounds like the old Fort Minor and stuff like that. I listened to it, and no, it doesn't. Why would you say that? It doesn't even remotely sound like that. So it's really just, no, they want to get re-invited, they're not doing their job properly, and one thing to keep in mind, as far as the community goes, if they have criticism, they'll be more likely to review and give a lower score. Those that actually enjoy it won't as much take the time and trouble to actually go to a review website. So,
True.
On the other side, the community reviews, they're slanted towards the negative side because that's just the way the internet works. But no, I don't think the press themselves are doing their jobs correctly, and they want to get re-invited because it means traffic for the website, for example. They earn off
So
of
that's
it.
what we've been doing wrong for WoW Weekly. Oh.
Yeah, I know. We're not praising WoW the way we should. Yeah. But, I don't know, I guess that's all I can say right now about it. Maybe Matt has something I can react to as well.
Yeah,
Well-
go ahead. I mean, if you want to go for both subjects, go ahead, man.
Well, I've got to remember what they are now. That was a big, long stay.
Hyping up.
With
and,
hyping up stuff, the problem is the history of everything. As you said, everything will be hyped up to a certain state, and sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it isn't. Now, the problem with Watch Dogs is it was hyped up originally for its original release in November. Now, you always have to worry about games that are delayed, like, not being stupid, everything got delayed. There should have been so many games released with the PS and the Xbox. I think there should have been about 15 on each, and ends up being like 5 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
There was about everything got delayed. Drive Club got delayed, and they've all been hyped. And so you've also got that hype added on top, and you are going to get. No, I will only ever. I just make my own choice up. It's hard looking at user reviews because 90% of the user reviews, as Mezzy said, are people putting a review on there because they're pissed off and they just want to moan. So some hype's good, but if you look in the history of everything that's been hyped, look at Star Wars when that came back. The first one, or the first film, fourth film made, was hyped tremendously. It's like, oh my god, it's a new Star Wars film. The film wasn't the worst film in the world, but because it wasn't so much better than everyone expected, it was hammered left, right, and centre. So the hype, they do mean to make a product for the hype, and it very rarely happens. There's not many games that will actually be released where the hype matches the amount of stuff that people say about it. And regards the reviewers. With regards to game reviewers, I don't really pay that much attention to reviews. I'll look at a trailer, I'll read a bit about the game, and if I want it, I'll buy it. Fair enough. Thief is a prime example.
Yeah.
That's
That's also a game that was hyped up to the end of the year, and it's mediocre at best.
Yeah, Thief was hyped up tremendously. Now, Infamous wasn't hyped up that much. Yet, Infamous apparently is a very, very good game.
I liked it.
For the PlayStation 4. Infamous 2 is meant to be a very, very good game.
Infamous, Second Son, not 2, but Second Son.
Second Son, yeah, is meant to be a very good game. But unfortunately, because it was like the first release afterwards. It was the first PS4 exclusive. Everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And that did sort of meet a little bit of hype around it. But say Thief is a prime example, and my example for people, for reviewers not understanding it, it all depends if they understand the context. As you said, a lot of people will or will go and look at a game and review it on what the gameplay style is like. What is they'll sort of do? Oh, the gameplay's good, fine, that's a tick. Oh, the story makes sense, that's a tick. But sometimes they won't link all of it together, which is a problem. I get wound up with film critics. A lot of film critics will go and watch a film, and they'll judge it on the acting, the story, all this type of stuff. And 90% of them go out there. Who cares? Like a lot of films I watch, I'm an action freak. I like action films. I do not go to an action film to see the greatest acting known to man. I love the Expendables films. The Expendables films have got the worst acting you will ever see in any films. But they're good films for what they are.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of reviewers miss that at the moment. They miss that.
I totally agree with that.
They missed looking at a concept of what they are. Like you said, Watch Dogs, I've not played the game, so I can't speak from personal appearance. And again, it would have been a game that I would play on the PlayStation 4, so I would not have experienced the same issues that you would have had.
No.
I presume the issues aren't the same on PlayStation 4 as they are on the PC.
As far as I know, they're only for the PC at the moment, yeah.
But then again, it got delayed for such a time.
Half a year.
Why is it still like that?
Well, I'm just looking at the PlayStation 4, like it also has an 82, but the user score is 6.3, so that's already a lot better than a 4.6.
Yeah, but again, the annoyance about user reviews is how many people actually. You only get arseholes. No offense to people who have done a user review, but you only get people who are really pissed off 9 times out of 10 replying.
I totally agree, but I was also looking like Infamous, like you just said. I mean, the review for the professionals was an 80, and for the normal people like us, it was also an 80. So I mean, that also represents that if a game is good, that people will also judge it correctly. I mean, of course, if people that are pissed off are will more easily open their mouth or use their keyboard to actually say that it's shit. So you have that as well, but I think that it's also an indication that, and exactly like you said, I think you worded it perfectly, Matt, that sometimes the reviewers go too far with trying to review something. I mean, if it's like if you want to judge a Mortal Kombat game and you're giving it a 2 because it doesn't look like Skyrim or any Elder Scrolls game. I mean, it's like apples and oranges sometimes, and that's really true with some of the reviewers. I mean, that's not only professionals, but that with normal people as well. I mean, it's just that's how people are at the moment, and I totally agree with what Messi said. Like some things that are like you can hype up a thing. You can hype up everything as much as you want, but if it's bad, it will bite you in the ass. I mean, especially like I listened to a Linkin Park song and I didn't hear at all like Fort Minor. So I mean, it's just Of course,
there's a song I was excited for because I'm a big Fort Minor fan.
So
I would love a new album, but one song that represents that, but no, it doesn't, and it's not even a good Linkin Park song if you compare it to the first 2 albums. But that aside,
first album,
first 2, Hyper Theory and Meteora both.
Oh yeah, I'll let you. My Hyper Theory is quite a good album.
All right.
It got ruined by Jay-Z.
I actually like.
Don't say it.
I do. Numb Encore is pretty good. Anyway.
Numb Encore is pretty good, but I mean that's
yeah. Anyway, as well, the hyping, it isn't bad for the companies themselves because people are going to buy it anyway. And if it's a company like Blizzard or EA or some other big company that's already well established, when they come out with the next version, people are going to buy it anyway to see if it's better.
Yeah.
It's an abusive relationship, just like I have with Linkin Park. They keep abusing me for my money and coming up with crappy albums.
That's why we download. Oh.
Well, actually, I don't the Linkin Park songs. So.
I do.
I know. But that aside, People are loyal to a brand, to a company, and they make use of that. Of course, as a evil company, you do that. You want to make money. It's about profits. So it's bad, but only for the gamer that's going to buy the games. For the company themselves, look at Diablo 3. It's bombed as a game, but now the expansion came out and people still massively bought it to check if it was better. And in this case, it did improve. The first one sucked, the second one was better, but there was no guarantee of that until you actually played it, and yet you still bought it, because that's what gamers do.
Yeah, with regards to like, Diablo is probably quite a good example of. I don't know. Looking back, do you realise that they released that game thinking we need to release a game, and they knew that it wasn't ready? Because you do not. They basically gave people an offer that was too good to refuse, and that's why that so many that got sold, and that was the subscription for a year, Warcraft.
Yeah, the annual pass.
The annual pass. The two things free. You basically got a free game, and they just got a free mount, and you got guaranteed people for a year, which is fair enough, and that's good marketing, good ploy. But do you reckon that was done partly in the fact that they didn't have the I don't know the word of putting it, the confidence in their own product? Because as we all saw,
No.
I played it and it just.
I think it might have played a role, but not the dominant role. But I think
Not
it
a
might
dominant
have.
role, a little bit of a role.
I think it might have been one of the factors.
The most dominating factor was just like we have now, that there wasn't any content for quite a while. They needed to keep people as subscribers, so they did the annual pass. Here, have a free game. So, no, I don't think...
And now they're just making free games, so they don't have to do it again.
Exactly. So, no, just my answer is no, I don't think that was the case. Diablo 3 was, what, 15 years after Diablo 2? Something crazy like that? It was a big
I believe it was 10, something like
10
that.
also possible. But they had plenty of time to work on it. I don't think they thought it was unfinished, because it is still
but
Blizzard.
Duke Nukem Forever also had 10, 15 years, and that game was shit.
Yes, but we're talking about Blizzard, the company that delays a release if something isn't done. That's what they're known for. That's why we have no Warlords of Draenor right now. So, no.
Double-edged sword.
I think it was just to keep subscribers in WoW, and at the same time get them to play Diablo 3 and use the real money auction house to make money off them that way.
And of course, you can always think that they may not have made that much money with Diablo 3, but they could have also thought that, well, we have the expansion, we'll make a killing with that, maybe. I mean, there's always that. People always, if they have the base game, 9 out of 10 people are going to get the expansion. Yeah. Even though we were doubting it for a long time, basically we made up our minds as soon as they released that awesome cinematic. So, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, gamers are going to buy it anyway. It's in favor of the companies, whether the game is good or not. And nothing really else to add. That's just the way things work.
The way the cookie crumbles, huh?
Exactly. That's the way the cookie crumbles. This has been WoW Weekly. Good night.
That is actually a good ending. Let's stop it here. I mean.
Yeah. So, any last words on the abusive relationship game companies have with the gamers?
No, I think we've got that.
Nope.
I think we're sorted.
All right then. Before the usual plugs, I forgot to do this at the start of the podcast. Thank you, Blizzard, for retweeting our last podcast. We really appreciated that. And if you're still watching, new subscribers, followers, etc., thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love to see that people actually enjoy our content.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, if you enjoyed, keep watching, and hopefully maybe even get some friends involved.
Exactly. Share our stuff, because we depend on word of mouth to increase our audience.
The word of social media.
Exactly. So, on to social media. If you haven't yet, you can subscribe on YouTube, comment, and let us know what you think of the episode, what you would like us to discuss during the discussion points, and of course, click the like button if you actually like the podcast. Of course you did. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/wowweekly, at Twitter at twitter.com/bbmezzy, and you can check out our sites, wowweekly.net. We keep the website updated with WoW news, some Blizzard news, for example, when there's something big for Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone, and occasional editorials, as well as, of course, these podcasts. I'd like to thank LJ and Matt for joining me tonight.
Glad to be here as always.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much.
And yeah, that's it. This has been WoW Weekly for this week. I'm Mezzy, and we'll see you again next time.